There's a question running through your head at every checkout, and you don't know you're asking it. It happens between the moment you reach for your card and the moment you tap. And the actual question, changes 3 times in your financial life. The first version is, can I afford this? You're not checking the price tag, you're checking your balance. Every purchase is a subtraction problem your brain runs in the background. The second is this worth it? Money has stopped being the constraint. Value has replaced it. You're not asking what's in your account anymore. You're asking what you're getting for the price. The third version isn't a question about money at all, and almost nobody gets there. Most people think the difference between these 3 checkouts is discipline, or income, or how you were raised around money. It isn't. It's a single number, your net worth, and there are 3 specific lines where crossing them rewrites which question you ask. Same wallet, same store, same shirt you've owned since 2019. Different brain at the register. I'm Professor Wealth, and today we're mapping the net worth levels where your spending changes, and which level is secretly a trap that costs people years. Here is the thing nobody explains about how spending actually works. You think your salary controls what you can buy? It doesn't. 2 people on identical $90,000 salaries can walk into the same store on the same day and have completely different experiences at the register. One feels squeezed, the other feels nothing. The paycheck is the same. The job title is the same. What separates them isn't income. Income is the speed of water flowing through your hands. The thing that actually matters is what's left behind after the water flows. Your net worth. The bucket, not the stream. And the bucket has 3 lines painted on the inside. 3 specific points where, once you cross them, the question your brain asks at every purchase quietly rewrites itself. You don't make the change consciously. You don't decide to start asking a different question. It just happens. The math behind your wallet changes and your behavior follows. Most people never realize they've graduated to a new question. And the more dangerous group, the one we'll get to, has graduated to a new question their numbers don't actually support yet. That's where this gets expensive. So let's meet someone named Ryan, and let's watch him at 3 different checkouts across his life. Because Ryan is going to show you exactly what each level does to a person's brain, and which level almost everyone gets stuck on for years without knowing it. Here is Ryan at 26. He has a job. He has a checking account with about $1,800 in it on a good week. His net worth is around $40,000, almost all of it in a retirement account he barely thinks about. He is standing in line at a grocery store, holding a basket of food he meant to buy, and he is doing math. He is not budgeting, he is not making a spreadsheet, he is running a silent calculation. $42 for groceries, $12 for gas tomorrow. Rent is auto-drafting on Friday, card payment on the 7th. His brain is performing a subtraction problem in the background, and it has been doing this every time he opens his wallet for as long as he can remember. He doesn't even know it's happening. He just feels a little tired by the time he gets to the front of the line. This is the level 1 question. Can I afford this? And the cruel part of level 1 is that the question doesn't go away when the answer is yes. The calculation runs every single time. Every coffee, every parking meter, every 6-pack on a Friday. $42 feels like 42 decisions stacked into one. Now watch what happens at $100,000. At $100,000 in net worth, a portfolio invested at the channel's long-run baseline of 7% real returns quietly starts generating about $7,000 a year on its own. That is not a fortune. That is not enough money to change your life. You will not throw a yacht party with the proceeds. But that is also not the point of this number. The point is this: for the first time, there is a margin underneath your daily decisions. There is a buffer that sits just behind your wallet, and your brain, which is exquisitely sensitive to financial pressure even when you cannot feel it consciously, finally has permission to stop. The subtraction stops, not because you got disciplined, not because you stopped caring about money. The calculation in your head simply runs out of reasons to exist. $42 at the grocery store stops being 42 decisions and goes back to being $42 of groceries. This is the genuine miracle of level 1, and almost nobody describes it correctly. It is not that you suddenly feel rich, because you don't. It is not that the world treats you differently, because it doesn't. It is that the checkout calculator in your head, the one that has been running silently underneath every transaction of your adult life, finally turns off. If you have ever wondered why the people you know who hit 6 figures in savings seem to relax in a way you cannot quite place, this is why. You are not watching them buy more, you are watching them think less. About every purchase. Forever. A quick honesty check before we go higher, because the next level only matters if you've nailed this one. When you tapped your card at the last place you bought something, was your brain doing the subtraction, or did the number on the screen just not register? Hold the answer, you will need it. 20 years go by. Ryan is now 46. Same person, same name, different brain. His net worth has crossed $600,000. He is at an airport gate looking at two flights on his phone. One is direct, $200 more. The other has a layover in Atlanta and saves him exactly that $200 but costs him 4 extra hours of his life and one of those airport meals where everything tastes like cardboard. Watch what Ryan does. He does not check his balance. He does not run the subtraction. He does not think about what the $200 means for the rest of his month. He looks at the screen for about 5 seconds, weighs 4 hours of his life against $200, and books the direct flight without flinching. This is the level 2 question. Is this worth it? The question is no longer about what you have. The question is about what you are getting. Money has stopped being the limiter. Value has stepped into its place. You don't ask whether you can afford the direct flight. You ask whether the direct flight is the better deal for your time, your sanity, your day. The math underneath this is the part most people never see. At $600,000 invested at 7% real, the portfolio is now generating about $42,000 a year on its own. That is roughly the median full-time wage in the United States. Read that twice. While you sleep, while you eat dinner, while you sit at the airport debating a flight, an invisible second earner is depositing what amounts to a full-time American salary into your life. You don't feel it in any one transaction. You feel it in the cumulative quiet. The dishwasher dies, and the whole crisis lasts 4 minutes. The kid needs braces, and you write the check. A friend invites you to a wedding in another state, and the only question is whether you want to go, not whether you can swing it. None of these are luxuries. They are just friction being silently removed from your week, one decision at a time. Now, here is the trap, and it is the most expensive mistake in personal finance, and almost nobody talks about it openly. Most people get stuck at level 2, but they don't get stuck at the level. They get stuck at the question. They start asking, is this worth it? Before their net worth supports it. This is what lifestyle inflation actually is, at the bone. It is not about wanting nice things, it is about graduating to level 2's question on level 1's numbers. Picture someone earning $300,000 a year. Big salary, real money. Now picture them with a net worth of $40,000. Same as Ryan at 26. The leased SUV in the driveway, the bigger mortgage, the vacations, the watch. They are asking, is this worth it? At every checkout? Breezily, like the math is settled. But their portfolio is generating $2,800 a year. Less than 1% of their salary is doing the work that a level 2 brain assumes is being done. This is the most punishing math in this entire video, because the lifestyle inflation isn't just expensive in the moment. It is the thing actively preventing them from ever reaching the level they already feel they're at. If that same person redirected $50,000 a year from lifestyle creep into the market, they would cross the genuine level 2 line, $500,000, in about 8 years. 8 years. That is the cost. Not a market crash, not a bad investment. The cost of asking level 2's question while your numbers are still level 1. Researchers have a name for one piece of this. They call it the wealth effect. The fact that when your assets rise, you start spending more even when your income hasn't changed at all. Your brain feels richer, so your spending follows. The catch is that the same effect fires for fake wealth too. A bigger paycheck, a nicer apartment, a leased car that signals income you don't actually keep. Your brain doesn't know the difference between real net worth and the appearance of it. The spending updates either way. Level 1 bought back a quiet mind. Level 2 buys back the question itself. The freedom to evaluate a purchase on its merits instead of its affordability. But only if your numbers earned it. Self-locate again. At the last checkout where you didn't check your balance. Was that because the money is there? Or because your brain has already promoted you to a level the bucket hasn't reached yet? Quick aside. If you'd rather run your own money math than just hear other people's, that's what the Wealth Logicians membership is for. New calculators are added regularly to the calculator vault. Link to join is in the description. Back to Ryan. Another 20 years pass. Ryan is 66. His net worth has crossed $3 million, and he is standing in the same kind of coffee shop he stood in at 26, holding a $6 coffee. And something strange is happening at the register. He is not asking, "Can I afford this?" He stopped asking that question 40 years ago. He is not asking, "Is this worth it?" He stopped asking that question 15 years ago. He is standing there, holding the coffee, and the only thing his brain is doing is this. Is this what I actually want? This is the level 3 question, and the math underneath it is the cleanest, most beautiful part of this whole story. At $3 million invested at 7% real, Ryan's portfolio is generating about $210,000 a year. $210,000 doing nothing. Now divide that across the hours of a year. $3 million at 7% earns Ryan approximately $24 an hour, around the clock, every hour of every day, while he sleeps, while he eats lunch, while he stands in line at this exact coffee shop. $24 an hour is almost to the dollar the median hourly wage of an American worker. Read that again. At $3 million in net worth, Ryan's portfolio is earning the same hourly wage as the median American. Except it does it 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, while he sleeps, while he eats lunch, while he argues with his wife about whether it's too late to call their daughter. Now look at the coffee in his hand. $6. At $24 an hour of passive income, $6 is 15 minutes of work the portfolio is doing while he stands in line. The coffee literally costs him the time it took to walk to the counter. Look at the dinner he might book tonight. $50 equals 2 hours of passive earnings. A car repair? 2.5 days. A $50,000 car? About 3 months of money the portfolio prints, whether he gets out of bed or not. This is what people mean when they say money stops mattering. It is not that the prices change, it is that the prices no longer filter anything for you. The question at the register stops being a money question. It becomes a self-knowledge question. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Level 3 is the level everyone is chasing, the freedom level, the screw you money level. And it does deliver everything it promises. It buys time, it buys choice, it buys an exit from any job, any city, any obligation that doesn't fit. About 4% of American households reach this level. They are a statistical rounding error in the best possible way. But for a substantial number of the people who get here, level 3 is where life gets harder. Not easier, because for 40 years money was filtering their preferences for them. Can I afford this? Took some options off the table. Is this worth it? Took more options off the table. The constraints did half the deciding. And the second the constraints disappear, the people who never developed actual preferences are left in the middle of a buffet with no idea what they like. They keep asking level 2's question on a permanent loop, endlessly upgrading, endlessly comparing, endlessly 6 months away from satisfaction. They got to freedom and brought the cage with them. The level 3 coffee is $6. It costs Ryan nothing to buy it. The question is whether he wanted it in the first place. And if he never figured that out at level 1 or level 2, he will not figure it out here either. The number got bigger, the person did not. So that is the ladder. 3 levels, 3 questions, each one quietly rewriting how you spend money. But now I have to tell you the thing nobody warns you about. The thing the gurus do not mention because it does not sell courses. There is a 4th pattern, and it sits underneath all 3 levels, and it is the reason most people are miserable at whatever level they actually reach. Your spending instincts lag your net worth in both directions. In one direction, the lag costs you the life. Picture the person who climbs from level 1 to level 2 but whose brain never updates. Net worth in the hundreds of thousands. Still doing the subtraction at the grocery store. Still feeling the small purchases. Still treating every checkout like a math test. The money is there, the buffer is real, but the brain is stuck at level 1, and the entire purpose of the climb, the quiet, the freedom from the calculation, is being thrown away by a brain that refuses to graduate. This looks like discipline. It is not discipline. It is a tax on the life the money was supposed to buy. In the other direction, the lag costs you the future. This is the $300,000 earner with the $40,000 net worth asking level two's question while their portfolio earns $2,800 a year. They feel rich. They are not. And every transaction they make on a level their numbers haven't earned is a transaction that delays the level they're actually trying to reach. Lifestyle inflation eats more wealth than any market crash in history. It just does it slowly enough that nobody notices. The fix is not earning more. The fix is matching the question to your actual numbers, not your raise, not your peers, not your feeling. Here is the simplest version of the rule, and it works. Take your liquid net worth. Divide it by what you spend in a year. That ratio tells you which question you are allowed to ask. Under 2 times your annual spend, your question is, can I afford this? The cushion is too thin to support any other one. Anything else is your brain lying to you. Between 2 and 15 times your annual spend, your question is this worth it? The buffer is real, the calculation can quiet, but money is still a meaningful constraint and value per dollar is the right filter. At 25 times your annual spend and above, your question is this what I want? You have crossed the line where your portfolio can fund your life indefinitely, and the constraint has moved from money to self-knowledge. That is the whole rule. Your wallet does not care about your salary. It cares about that ratio. Most people think the goal is to climb the levels. Reach the next one, then the next one, then the next one. It is not. The goal is to make sure the question your brain is asking matches the level your numbers have actually built, because the punishment for getting that wrong is brutal in either direction. Ask too small a question with too big a number, and you spend your whole life mentally subtracting at the grocery store while a fortune sits idle. Ask too big a question with too small a number, and you spend your future before it arrives, financing a lifestyle the math has not earned yet. Ryan, by the way, only gets to level 3 because he kept his question matched to his numbers at every step. At 26, he asked, "Can I afford this?" Honestly. At 46, he let himself ask, "Is this worth it?" without inflating the question. And at 66, when the constraints finally dissolved, he had spent 4 decades learning what he actually wanted, which is the only currency level 3 accepts. The next time you tap your card, listen for the question your brain is asking. That question is the truest report on your finances you will ever get. Truer than your bank balance. Truer than your salary. Truer than the number in your investment app. The question is the level. Make sure they match. If this changed how you think about the next checkout you walk into, do me a favor and hit subscribe. Because next we are taking the same lens to a different number entirely and showing you the 3 income thresholds where work itself starts feeling different. I will see you in that one.